Hello, today we're going to be talking about how to avoid sin. And just as a background on sin, if you look at the very first sin in the Bible, in the book of Genesis 3:1-6, when Satan got Eve to sin, it was that he tried to get her to think that the fruit was good for food through deceit, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that it was to be desired. So he got her to sin through deceit, delight, and desire. And he also came to her in the form of the most cunning beast in the Garden of Eden, the snake. So she wouldn't have imagined that he could have deceived, cheated, or lied to her. So that's how Eve sinned. And if you look at James 1:15, it says that when desire has been conceived, that it gives birth to sin. And sin, when it is full grown, brings forth death. So sin is basically most of the time brought upon on either deceit, delight, or desire. Now, this is some good pointers on how to avoid sin. First of all, you must recognize which temptations you are most likely to give into. And also that when you fall into temptations, you need to look back on the situation and ask yourself, what could I have done differently to have a different outcome? Once you've figured out what temptations you are most likely to give into and how that you fall into them, this is when you need to start putting barriers between you and the temptations. You need to do anything and everything possible to weaken the temptation's appeal. You need to try to avoid putting yourself in a position to be tempted. Just for a modern, basic day example. If you are having a hard time with eating a certain type of junk food before bedtime, then when you go to the grocery store, don't buy it. Then when bedtime rolls around, instead of deciding between, I think I'll go get me a snack and then head to bed, you'll have to decide between driving to the grocery store and then coming back home and then going to bed. And so it'll be much less of a possibility of you eating that junk food under those conditions. See, Satan tries to set up these temptations so that they will be easy to give into. So therefore it's your job to make his job hard by changing the circumstances to where he will not be able to tempt you so easily. And also, remember Satan's motto, when you sin, I win.